Our region's business is sponsored by PNC Bank, solutions that help you achieve your goals in life. PNC, leading the way. And by Heffron Tillotson, a history of meticulous wealth management since 1948. Our region's business, innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, Bears celebrates 50 years in Pittsburgh and the business of barter. But first, pessimism on the rise in Pennsylvania. PNC is out with its latest survey of employer sentiment, and it's getting ugly out there. Todd Barnhart is Senior Vice President of Business Banking with PNC, a sponsor of Our Region's Business. And John Funyak is the owner of Funyak Lawn and Landscape out of Mars in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Welcome. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's see, John, I'll come back to you for the report from the front lines in a moment. But first, Todd, about the survey that you take. This is usually you come by and we seem to be more optimistic, more bullish in Pennsylvania than many other parts of the country. The sentiment really does seem to have shifted since we last talked about this.
It has. When we talked in the spring, we had talked about how nationally it was probably the worst results we've seen in terms of the overall sentiment of the small business owner out there, which, as we've said, is typically a pretty optimistic group of folks. But now even Pennsylvania is starting to feel the crunch, if you will, and the pinch of what's going on in the broader economy. And I would say that the small business person, probably one of the most unique aspects of the survey, is the fact that they're really starting to personalize it. So it's not just the U.S. economy anymore. It's not even just the Pennsylvania economy, but it's the prospects of my own business that I'm starting to show some real concern about.
Well, at the time you took the survey, too, gasoline was around $4 a gallon.
That's right.
Did that seem to really be coming into play?
It certainly did, and energy prices overall showed up as one of the highest concerns that the small business owners exhibited, and the fear of what that would do to their overall costs in terms of prices from their suppliers and what have you. So certainly that may change now with some of the events over the last 6 to 8 weeks in terms of when the survey was taken, but certainly a high concern for them in terms of driving up the overall cost for their business.
And John, to think about your business, power tools, tractors, trucks, all that kind of stuff.
A lot of equipment, a lot of toys.
You must have been sweating a little bit, not just because of your work, but because of the economy over the summer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, as far as those energy costs are concerned, we have the issue where not only do employees have to get to work, they drive there. Once they get there, we put them in all the trucks. Off they go with all the equipment. Everything is burning fuel. And that's really one thing that we've tried to focus on a little bit. There are some avenues that we've tried to do to reduce that, just be more efficient. How we use our equipment and different things like that, but it certainly plays into how we bid jobs and even do our maintenance side of things. It affects us really every day.
Now, you're pretty much off your summer season, or I guess it's winding down, and you do both the commercial as well as residential sides, right?
That's exactly right. We do, percentage-wise, about 60% residential, about 40% commercial, and in so doing, there's also a trade-off where we do designing and building of landscapes, and the other side of our business is then maintaining what people have.
Okay, so I hear diversity is good. Has that been helping you through what we've been up against recently?
It really has. A lot of contractors, I think, specialize in a certain area, which is really great for them. Over the years, really the last 10 or so years, we've developed into a full-service type of company. So when folks are a little leery and don't want to spend that big chunk of money right now, they still have to maintain what they have. So there's certainly been a benefit and a bit of a balance. If we're not doing one, we're doing the other, and certainly like to do both.
Ty, you mentioned this survey was taken over the summer, and that was before the credit crisis, the global financial market issues. Really, nobody was talking about deep and severe recession at this time. So you think the survey still has validity in terms of where people would, if you did it today, would you expect it to be a lot different from what you found?
Well, I think if it had come back really optimistic, I would say certainly if you took it now, it would be coming much more pessimistic. But I think even then, in late July and August, when we fielded the survey, there was the underpinnings of a lot of the concerns now, and I just think that it would probably be exemplified. So energy may not show up now as the top concern, but certainly the fear of a recession, inflation, some of those kinds of factors that were secondary and third kind of concerns that small business owners have those may now be the things that would resonate most strongly with them.
Well, John, where is it for you? Are you optimistic, pessimistic, level?
Well, you know, by nature, I think a lot of self-employed small business owners are very optimistic. But I don't want that to kind of cloud out what reality really is and how that affects our business on a daily basis. I think the one important thing about the small business owner is that we like to try and figure things out and deal with those things as they come up and kind of wake up tomorrow and try and solve these problems. There is some uncertainty now in so doing. So what we're trying to do then is work our way through the process in a challenging way, trying to remain optimistic and do things like keeping in touch with our employees, letting them know how things are going, and communicating with customers, and just doing our best to certainly move forward in the situation.
Have you already seen a shift in mix, though, from sort of the planning of new projects to leaning more on maintenance and just the routine kinds of activities?
You know, we've always had a pretty good balance of it. It seems that people either want to, at the very least, keep up with their curb appeal and maintain those things that they have. But still there's that fun side of landscaping that never really goes away. People are looking forward to some specific project maybe in their backyard. They've been saving up even for a waterfall or a custom patio. And then when we kind of roll in, they're excited about it, and those types of things just seem to continue, fortunately, for us.
That's great. One last question. There was a great article in Time over the last week or so saying that our region may actually be better prepared to weather this storm than many other places. Do you get a sense that that may be true?
You know, I do, even though the survey may not bear it out. Certainly dealing with business owners like John on a regular basis. I mean, we do see that the real estate prices never really ran up. I think it's a fairly diverse economy now in the Pittsburgh region, and as a result of that, we don't have some of the same issues that many other areas of the country are dealing with. And so, you know, folks in the construction and trade businesses and landscape management and things such as John, still, you know, people are still thinking that their homes have value. They haven't seen them drop 20, 30%, and so people are still thinking about, I may not be buying a new home in the next 2 years, so I'll invest a little bit more in my current home, those types of things. And I think that may still be unique to Pennsylvania as compared to, say, California, Florida, or some of the other more severely hit markets out there.
All right, well, some hopeful signs for whatever's ahead for all of us. Todd Barnhart with PNC, John Funyak with Funyak Lawn and Landscaping. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
And next up, we'll meet the new CEO of Bayer Corporation. Stay with us.